The planets line up for an incredible view right after sunset, and we check back in on Comet G3 Atlas. Let's take a look at what you can go out to see in the night sky for February of 2025. I'm Michael Martin, and this is Late Night Astronomy. Before we take a look at the Planetary Parade, let's begin our journey into space with our closest neighbor, the Moon. Beginning with its phases this February, starting with a first quarter moon on February 5th, followed by a full moon February 12th, last quarter moon February 20th, and a new moon February 27th. The moon also makes several close passes to some objects this month, starting with Venus on February 1st, M45 and Jupiter February 6th, and Mars on February 9th. Some of you living in specific parts of the world will be able to see the moon move in front of Mars in an event known as an occultation. This occurs on the night of February 10th for people who live in parts of Russia, China, Eastern Canada, and Greenland. I was able to see an occultation of the moon and Mars just last month, and it was an incredible sight seeing Mars outshined by the moon as the lunar surface slowly covered it. I'll leave a link to a website called inthesky.org so you can check the exact moment this event might occur where you live. Our main event this month involves the planets. For the past several weeks, you've been able to go out to see the major planets of our solar system right after sunset, and that continues for the first few weeks of February. Let's begin by going outside about 30 to 45 minutes after sunset and facing towards the west. The first planet you'll come across is none other than perhaps the most beautiful in our solar system, Saturn. It's going to be low to the horizon, but for the first half of the month, you'll be able to get some nice views of its rings, which are nearly straight on right now from our perspective through a telescope. Moving just up from Saturn, we come across our next planet, Neptune. This is going to be a difficult one to resolve, particularly with how close it is to the horizon, but try pushing your telescope if you can up to 200 times magnification to see if you can make out the pale, faint disk of this planet. Just up from Neptune, we come across our next planet, Venus. About half of Venus is currently lit right now, and it is the brightest planet out in the night sky, starting out the month right next to the moon. See if you can make out its shaded region with a pair of binoculars before you move on to viewing it through a telescope. Looking straight up, you'll come to two more planets, Uranus and Jupiter. Uranus is at a much better altitude than Neptune to see the small disk of this planet, which should show up around 150 times magnification as a soft, pale blue object. Right near Uranus, you'll find my favorite planet, Jupiter. It will be visible for most of the night and is at an excellent altitude for observing and astrophotography. Start out by looking at the Galilean moons with a pair of binoculars to see how their orbits change hour by hour throughout the night. If you own a telescope, focus on Jupiter's cloud belts and you might even see the great red spot slowly sail across the surface during a night of observing. I've been out over the past several weeks imaging and viewing Jupiter with my 12-inch Dobsonian telescope, with most views being done around 150 to 250 times magnification. Our planetary journey ends this month with our friendly red neighbor Mars, that just last month made its closest pass to Earth, which occurs about every 2 years. Even though we're currently moving away from each other, it's still a great month to get out to observe and image this target. Look for its polar ice caps, land features, and perhaps even dust storms that can be visible, changing the surface of the planet on a nightly basis. If you live in an area with a fairly flat horizon, go out and look west and you'll actually be able to see Mercury rise up and pass by Saturn on February 25th, giving you a unique opportunity to see all of the planets of our solar system in one night with the naked eye, a pair of binoculars, and a telescope. After its closest pass to Earth in mid-January, Comet C2024 G3 Atlas continues to put on an amazing show for my friends in the Southern Hemisphere. If you own a telescope or do long exposure astrophotography, go outside to hunt down Comet G3 Atlas as it starts off the month in the southwest, traveling through the constellation Pisces, Austranus, the southern fish. As it continues to dim throughout the month, it'll become a more difficult target as it moves through the constellation Grus and Phoenix. I love seeing the amazing pictures that you all are taking of the night sky, and if you've been able to get any shots of Comet G3 Atlas or anything else, please share them with me over on Instagram at Late Night Astronomy. As we leave our solar system behind and travel into deep space, it's important to remember that getting away from as much light pollution as you possibly can, and that does include the moon, is going to give you the best experience for observing the objects in this portion of our video. Let's begin by going outside about an hour and a half after sunset and facing towards the east. Look straight up until you come across the constellation Auriga. I've been spending the past 5 months observing 125 open clusters, having just completed the Astronomical League's program on those objects. We begin by star hopping from Elneth with a pair of binoculars at roughly 10 times magnification. Here you will find a wealth of stars and open clusters, with 3 of the most prominent being M36, M37, and M38. I'm going to switch now to a low power eyepiece in my telescope to zoom in on some more features in this part of space, taking us to around 60 times magnification. Just down from the starfish cluster, we have NGC 1907, with perhaps 20 to 30 stars visible within it. Within the open cluster NGC 1931, you may be able to even see what's been described by some as a small version of the Orion Nebula, depending upon your seeing conditions, light pollution, and telescope. If you're looking for some more challenging targets in this part of the night sky, move over to NGC 1893 and IC 405, which houses the Flaming Star Nebula. You're going to need darker skies and larger telescopes, particularly for these final objects, but if you're already in this part of the sky for the night, you might as well see if you can pick them up from your own backyard. Those are just some of the most incredible things that you can see in the night sky for the month of February. If you've enjoyed this video, please like it and consider subscribing to this channel to join our growing community. But most importantly, let us know what questions you have and what you're getting out to observe and image in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for your continued support, and clear skies from Late Night Astronomy.